Hello tribe, it's me, Donna Bliss. I have a question for you. Are you a healer or not? Because I feel like you're here because you think you're a healer but you're not sure. Or you're just curious if you're a healer or not. Or you want to be triggered and want to be a contrast to whatever I'm gonna say and say you're wrong. Because there are people like that, so pessimist and always had to be contradicting to every idea. I got asked since I was here in Australia twice by two ladies if I was a healer. The first one, my answer was, I'm not sure. And then the second one, I said, well, if you consider being a dentist a healer, then I guess I am a healer, I said. Because the first one, I guess what I was thinking was, it's a spiritual kind of question. The past few years that I have been following a lot of spiritual advisors, life coaches, found out that when we say healer, the first thing that comes to our mind are the typical ones like the doctors, paramedics. You can consider people who does acupuncture or massage therapists, psychiatrists. These are the initial people that comes into mind. It's funny because now that I am more knowledgeable about these things, anything or anyone who makes you feel better are healers. For example, musicians. When you hear them, you can relate to the music or you can relate to the song, and for some reason it heals you. Like when I'm stressed, when I needed to calm down, I need to listen to music or calms my nervous system, so I listen to specific songs, which means that singers and lyricists or artists who make songs are also healers. Not to mention the comedians. Comedians give you high frequency because when you laugh, you're in a higher frequency. And when you're in a higher frequency, that means your cells, your body relax. And this is just not woo-woo. This is explained by science nowadays. Everything is about frequency now. If you're into these things, I know that you can relate to me, but when your body is in a relaxed state, then you produce healthy cells. Our cells die every day, but if we are always stressed, then it cannot regenerate, it cannot produce healthy cells. If you have chronic stress, you become ill depending on which part of the body. For example, my husband, he used to really cannot handle stress, so it's usually heart and it's usually his digestion. So he had to be careful with his stress levels and he needs to exercise it properly. The thing is, if you're a good friend or if you give advice to your relative or to a stranger and you made them realize some things or you made them see other point of view, then that means you heal a part of them, which means that you are a healer to somebody. You know what they call the unsolicited advice, when you advise a person when the person doesn't want any advice. Before, I don't understand why people don't want advice, because guys, there are people who are grieving, who are still in pain, who are still very angry and cannot absorb anything that anybody is giving to them. So they're stuck in a specific emotions, which means that they don't need advice at that specific moment. That's why I stopped really stressing about people who don't listen to my vlogs, my chit chat vlogs, because there are people who doesn't want to change, who doesn't think that they need to change, and they don't think that they're wrong. So when I realized this fact, I stopped stressing about my vlogs not being watched by people who need to watch. Sometimes when you share your story, it went through somebody else's heart and it made them heal their wounds. That means you're a healer. Just sharing somebody else's story. If you heard me talk about a specific subject and you shared it to another one, just any simple story, like if you heard that story of mine that I thought I was depressed, when in fact I had severe iron deficiency, guys, and one of the signs is you think you're depressed, When you feel like you're always low in energy and you're always negative and there's nothing that can make you smile, or make you happy, if you say to someone, maybe you're just low in iron or low in vitamin D, just go to your doctor. It might be just a simple mineral deficiency. A simple advice like that, you can really, really help someone. You don't need a diploma, a doctor of medicine to be a healer. You don't need to be a very special kind of person, guys. All you need to do is to heal yourself. Heal your childhood wounds, heal your past traumas, because when you heal yourself and the people around you see the change within you, then they will start to observe how you healed, or they will ask you how you did it. And by healing yourself, right, and people seeing you being healed, then without doing anything, you're doing something. So I'll give you an example. I have a friend and he's got twin kids, right? All his life he's been dreaming about having a family. When he finally got a family, he did everything in his power to have a solid union. There came a time in his life when divorce was inevitable. So that's what happened. And he was so disappointed with himself, right? Of course, that's what you initially feel when a relationship doesn't work out. It doesn't have to be a marriage, even just a friend or a relative. If the relationship didn't work, of course we get sad and we get disappointed. But if you listen to my perspective, sometimes in order for us to grow, we have to cut people. We have to have boundaries. And sometimes being separated from people who we think is not aligned to us. If you have become a parent, and since you became a parent, you became a different person, and your partner is not growing with you, or you create a toxic relationship and your kids can see this. If you grew up in a family where no, we don't do divorce, it actually makes a negative chain of events. For example, you create a toxic relationship and your kids will see this. Whatever it is that you create with another person that is toxic, your kids, when they grow up, they will find a person or a partner who is as toxic as what they grew up with. The environment that you created with a person who doesn't align with you. My bottom line is, when you create a healthy environment in your family, even if you're a single dad, if you're a single mom, if the person is, for example, a drug addict, an alcoholic, or have a gambling problem and is so not aligned with you anymore, it's better to cut that person out of your life so you can create a healthier environment with yourself. You heal yourself and you heal your kids. You heal the part of yourself that doesn't want to be in a toxic relationship. In order for you to heal the past wounds, you need to heal yourself first. And your kids will see this. If you're healed, your kids will see you as an example, because most often than not, guys, kids will follow you through your actions. Sometimes when you say don't do this, but you yourself is doing that, then they will follow what they see. My bottom line is, sometimes to be a healer, you don't have to heal everybody. You just have to first heal within yourself, because when you heal yourself, you heal your family. And having a healthy family, then people who want to have that kind of healthy relationship, those people who want to have a better relationship will look at your family and say, what are you doing? They will be curious, what's your patterns? How do you react? How do you do it? You know what I mean? So which means that you as a person, you create ripples even if you're not doing anything. I hope I make sense. That's all for now. As usual, light and love. Goodbye.